Okay, in this video, this will be the third video that really helps you assess whether entrepreneurialism is right for you, whether owning a business is right for you. Now, for those of you who already own a business and are looking to grow a business, maybe this isn't as significant. But then again, we're going to be talking about the differences between entrepreneurs, managers, and technicians. And I would hazard a guess that, for many of you out there who already own a business and are looking to grow it, you might have come face to face and confronted those issues, whether or not you're really an entrepreneur, whether you are more of a manager or a technician. In which case, in comparing and contrasting these skills and different attributes, again, that will help you determine where your strengths and talents lie and help you make up the difference where there are complementary differences between you and the people you work with. And so let me just take a minute and talk about those three general categories. First of all, people with entrepreneurial skills are leaders. And these are leaders with vision. They're able to see the big picture. They're able to communicate often this vision or big picture that they have. They're strategic thinkers. In order to be a successful entrepreneur, you've got to be highly motivated. You've got to think of ways to improve things, improve your systems, improve your product, improve your service. How can you be a better service to your customers and your clients? You're always thinking of those people and those systems in ways that will help you do more, offer more, do better, and things like that. And I mentioned communication, but not only are you a good communicator, but you get excited sharing your ideas with other people. And so it's important that in looking at these very general and generic traits of entrepreneurs, that you take a look at yourself, again, looking maybe at those accomplishments that I talked about in another video, and those traits that I talked about in another video, and ask yourself, do those really fit with being an entrepreneur and a leader of that kind? Or are my interests a little bit different? Another thing you might want to do is take a pen, paper, and write down the name of entrepreneurs that you know or have heard of, and address this important question. Why are they entrepreneurs? What is it about them that makes them a successful entrepreneur, a successful leader? And once you've done that and you've had a chance to think about your own situation and your own skills and talents as they line up with entrepreneurs, then let's take a look at managers for a minute. Managers are people who are good at creating order and managing resources, managing time and managing information, and setting priorities. You can see that they're more in the details than perhaps entrepreneurs are. They're good at tracking income, expenses, processes. They can make decisions based on that kind of information. You can kind of begin to contrast and compare an entrepreneur with a manager based on the things that I'm kind of mentioning here. They tend to study the past as a way of determining how they're going to do things and how they're going to systematize things. They can organize chaos into order. You've got good planning skills, good time management skills, I should say good organizational skills. Good managers tend to know where every penny has gone. And you've got to be good at decision making. these are some of the things that managers excel with, the talents and skills that they have. And you can see that they're a little bit different than an entrepreneur. I'll get to that in a second. I had an idea, but I think I'm going to get to that in a second. Take that pen and paper and write down the names of good managers. Maybe these are bosses you've had in the past or people who've worked for you in the past. And write down their names and write down the attributes that made them good managers that sync up with some of the examples that I've given you here. And then lastly, let's talk about technicians for a second. These are people with technical skills and abilities. In particular, they have an expertise or an ability in an area that people will want to buy from them because they know their product, they know their service. And so people with technical skills, they work in the present. They're dealing with current problems and that involve their area of expertise. Here's some ideas of people with technical skills. Perhaps you know how to cut hair, or you can bake a delicious pie or pastries, or you're a good cook. Perhaps you're good at talking with people. You're good at empathizing with people's needs. Maybe you've successfully worked on a farm. You've raised chickens or cows or something like that, or you've built a good computer network. Mechanics or technicians, they repair cars. Certain types of paralegal people are good writers and they can write a contract, or they understand the legal process. Perhaps you're skilled at making presentations. Any number of things. Accountants can be good technicians at a certain level where they're able to hit the debits and the credits and are able to prepare a financial statement. These are all examples of technical or technicians and technical skills. And as you can see, their skill sets differ even more so from entrepreneurs and managers. And so, again, think about the technicians you know. Write down their names on a piece of paper and write down the reasons why you think they're a good technician. And again, this exercise is designed to help you determine where you are with respect to entrepreneurial skills, management skills, technician skills, and determining whether you need to brush up on some skills in a direction you want to go, or whether you need to find those skills. Again, as you're looking at your business success cycle, you can look at those resources that you have and you can say, well, I'm a technician. I need somebody who's an entrepreneur, or I need someone who's a manager to work with me. Or maybe you're a good entrepreneur, but you need to surround yourself with some good technicians. Kind of reminds me of the story of Henry Ford back in the day when some people thought that because of his education and background, he wasn't fit to run an automobile manufacturing company, even though he started it. And they literally took him to court over this. And they, brought him up and put him on the witness stand and began to ask him all sorts of questions. Questions about the engineering specifications of his automobiles and other things. And he essentially surprised everyone by saying, look, I don't have to know everything there is to know about the engineering specifications of my cars or other technical details. That's what I pay my engineers to do. That's what I pay my technicians to do. And I surround myself with the best engineers in the world. And I surround myself with the best technicians in the world. And I communicate a vision of what I want to have happen. And in so communicating that vision to my engineers and technicians, they're able to go out and actually do the things that I want them to do. And so the moral of that lesson is, or the moral of that story is of course, is that Henry Ford knew that he was an entrepreneur, and he was not a technician. But he knew also how to find the right people, the right managers, and the right engineers, and the right technicians to put an organization together that would accomplish what he wanted to accomplish. And so the challenge is for you to do the same thing, to be able to understand what your strengths and skills are, what kind of business person you are, entrepreneur, manager, technician, and then understand one other concept, and I'll share this with you. A lot of these companies, as you know, when a company's starting out, it's in what I call the ma and pa garage phase. So many businesses start out in someone's garage, and that's great. And it takes that entrepreneur, that person with that vision and that big picture and that looking into the future to be able to successfully take that business out of the garage and get it into a corporate setting. Once it's in that corporate setting, the business may outgrow that entrepreneur, in which case it would be better for perhaps management, people with those managerial skills, to come in and run that business, assuming that it's growing. A lot of people can grow with their business. Henry Ford grew with his business. Obviously, he took it out of the garage. He was able to move it into the corporate structure and beyond. Walt Disney is another example of someone, and actually it was more Walt's brother Roy Disney that was able to get it out of the little studio and into the big corporate structure, and they were able to grow with it. Some people can't, and so you need to also be able to ascertain your limitations to know if at some point in time you need to move yourself into the boardroom, if you will, and allow a professional management team to take over. But I'm getting ahead of myself because that's really more of a future discussion. But I put it there so that you can kind of, again, use that to think about your strengths, your talents, your limitations, your weaknesses, because the entrepreneur, the business owner that really understands these things about themselves and others is in a better position to strategically determine what their role will be and when they need to get some help. And so, good luck. We've talked about a number of things in these last few videos. One, what kind of business owner you are. We're talking about how to ascertain your strengths and skills. And we're talking about, again, the importance, just the vital importance of business planning. So good luck, and let me know if you need any assistance. Have a great day.